In this video, Kevin and I are going to be talking about the movies and TV shows that we watched during the month of January. It's hard to believe we're already at the end of, January of a new year.
Very hard.
Yeah. So, okay, so I've got some movies. I'm going to go over movies first and then TV. And I've got movies that I watch by myself. But I wrote down the ones first that we watched together. So we watched Memoir of a Snail.
Mm-hmm. It was different. It was interesting.
We explain it.
It's hard to explain. It was basically brother and sister. The mom dies. Really, I mean, you never see the mom. The dad later dies, but the kids are still young, so they get taken into like foster care. Mm-hmm. And they get separated. Two different families. One's okay, one's not so okay. And it's really just them dealing with life. I mean, really. And one of them has some issues with eating and things like depression and stuff. The other one has other issues going on with the family they're with. So it's just them living, basically.
It's an animated movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like claymation or something.
But there is nudity. So
claymation nudity.
There is some hilarious. I mean, there's some comedy. There's some dark points to it. So this is an adult movie. This is for adults. So it takes you through all kinds of emotions. But there are some dark moments. But there's some comedy gold in there too.
Yeah, there's some. You're like laughing out loud.
Yes, yeah. And you're like, I can't believe that. So I mean, so I thought it was. I think it's something to watch one time at least.
Yeah. I mean, would I watch it again? No, I've already know what's going to happen and all that stuff. So there's really no reason for me to watch it again. But I could definitely recommend watching it once if you kind of like if you don't mind if you're not triggered by some dark depression and claymation nudity.
Yeah. Okay, A Real Pain. A Real Pain was mismatched cousins reunite for a tour through Poland to honor their beloved grandmother, but their old tensions resurface against the backdrop of their family history. That's what Internet Movie Database says. This is Kieran Culkin, who I love. I think he's brilliant. He was in Succession, if you ever watched that. I really like him a lot. And Jesse Eisenberg is in this. And so it's just like what we just said, what I just read to you. These two cousins haven't come together for a while. Mm-hmm. They live in separate states. And so they have come together to visit Poland and see where their grandma lived. Mm-hmm. And it's just about, they're on a bus tour with some other people. And I tell you who else is in it is Jennifer Grey. Is that her name from Dirty Dancing? Yep. She's in it. You don't even recognize her, but she's in it. And some other people are in it. But they're on this bus tour. And, there's just some people you don't want to travel with. And I would say Kieran Culkin, I would not want to. No. His character, I would not want to travel with. And it's just too like, okay, you're with this person, but you have no control over their behavior, which is, it's different when you're married and you can like grab somebody by the ear and, tell them to quit acting like that. But it's different when it's a cousin or something, or even like a parent or something. And like, you have no control of the way they're acting.
She does that to me all the time, by the way.
Oh, right. All the time. Grab his ear. Mm-hmm.
It was an okay movie. For me, it was definitely a one-time movie.
It was a one-time.
It was very, very slow. Very slow. It was more about the story than anything. So, and it had
some pretty music.
Yeah. And it ended in an odd way too. So I won't mention the ending, but it just ended.
I agree.
Kind of odd.
I agree. Heretic. I actually watched Heretic twice.
Yeah.
I watched it once by myself, and then I liked it so much that I watched it again with Kevin because I wanted him to see it.
Yeah, it's like a psychological thriller.
It is. It's set. This is the Internet Movie Database description. Two young religious women They're Mormons. I don't know why they didn't just say that. 2 Mormons are drawn into a game of cat and mouse in the house of a strange man. So these 2 little Mormon girls go knocking on the door of Hugh Grant, which you're not used to seeing Hugh Grant in this way. At least I'm not. I'm used to him from like Love Actually and,
lighter
him
parts.
dancing and, real cute. Well, he answers the door.
He does a good job of playing this part.
He does I know they're going to choose him for more movies like this. Basically, though, he invites the little Mormon girls in, and once they get in there, then the stuff hits the fan.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's a little
really
slow
good.
right at first. You got to stick with it right at the beginning, but then it builds pretty quickly after that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you're wondering the whole time.
Like I said, it is psychological, so it's setting your mind up.
Yes, you're wondering the whole time, what's going to happen? What's going on here? What's he going to do? What is going to happen? And you really do like the girls. I didn't write down their names, but you do like them. I thought they did a great job acting. And for me to watch it twice, basically right in a row. Like I watched it one day and then maybe 3 days later or something, I got Kevin to watch it with me because I liked it so much. And I told my sister about it. And it's just, I thought it was a really, and it has some excellent talking points about it. So I won't tell you anything else. Okay, and then I had watched the movie Nebraska a couple of months ago, and I had always said I'm going to get Kevin to watch this with me. It is an aging, booze-addled father makes the trip from Montana to Nebraska with his estranged son in order to claim a $1 million mega sweepstakes marketing prize. And the dad is played by Bruce Dern.
He does a good job too.
Yes, this movie, I really like it. Now, it's a slower movie.
It's a slow movie too. It is, but it has its moments to where it's really good. So
you glad I made you watch it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little slow, but I'm glad I watched it.
Yes,
it's a one time for me. I never would watch it again, but
it was worth seeing that one time. Yeah. And it ends. I love the ending.
The ending's really good.
Yes, the ending is so good. I just absolutely love it. But Bruce Dern, in my mind, you say Bruce Dern, and I always jump to the Burbs. He's the neighbor in the Burbs, and so that's what I think of. And then you see him in this movie, and he's really, really elderly, and he's lost. He just will go off out the door. He doesn't realize how far away things are. So it's a good movie worth watching once. We both really love this next one. It was called Carry On. It was on Netflix or something, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I think it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Carry On. A mysterious traveler blackmails a young TSA agent into letting a dangerous package slip through security and onto a Christmas Eve flight. This is my kind of movie. This is like... It takes place at Christmas, so it's like a new Die Hard. It's like a new take on things. I would love to hear somebody that works at the airport that actually does this job. I would love to hear how they would handle this situation, what they would do, because how much can we tell?
But you don't want to tell too much because a lot of it's you learn as you go, and you don't want to know about it. I mean, basically what they said on an everyday basis was enough.
Okay. Well, it stars...
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot more.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Taron Egerton. He's the one that played Elton John in Rocket Man.
Which is a completely different character.
Completely different character. And that was a good movie.
Yeah.
But then it also stars Jason Bateman, which you're used to Jason Bateman if you've ever watched Ozark. And
he kind of plays the same kind of character, kind of low key and stuff like that. And he's the bad guy.
Jason Bateman is the bad guy, and he does a good
low key, kind of talks really calm and stuff, but he's the bad guy. So it's just like, it fits with him really, really well.
Yeah.
It's good the way the things happen in the movie and the way it plays out and stuff. I mean, some of it's a little far-fetched, but it's still
But I
good.
would still love to know.
Just like Die Hard's a little far-fetched in reality.
But if you watch this, I would like to know, like, how would the TSA agent handle this same situation? If the same situation happened to them at the airport, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
What would happen?
Okay. So it was really good, and I would watch that again.
It was good.
Yeah. And I
could see them doing more movies with him.
Yes. Okay.
Because he wasn't really the action star like Die Hard. He was really like going out shooting and blah, blah, it's like shootouts and stuff. This one wasn't quite like that. I mean,
it wasn't
was more
like
smarter.
That, but it was enough action to where
there was I would still call it an action movie.
Yeah. Okay, and then by myself, I watched Grumpy Old Men because the movies I'm going to name are old movies that I wanted to rewatch again. I just get in certain moods to where I want to watch old movies, but I want to bring them up here because if you've never seen Grumpy Old Men, it's hilarious. It's funny. A lifelong feud between two neighbors. The two neighbors are Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. They've been friends since childhood. It only gets worse, this feud, when a female neighbor moves into the neighborhood, and that is Anne Margaret. Mm-hmm. And Anne Margaret has this red, fluffy hair, and she is turning heads of these single men, these
grumpy old men.
Was it a widow or a widower? It's a
widower.
A widower.
I think so.
Anyway, one of those. The wives have died, and so you've got some single men here, and then you've got this beautiful woman who's moved in, and if you know who Burgess Meredith is, he played in
Penguin in the old Batman movies,
and he played in Foul Play, and he was hilarious in Foul Play. He's hilarious in this. He plays the dad to one of the men. It's just absolutely hilarious. Okay.
It is a good movie. Good old movie.
Jurassic Park. I hadn't seen it in years, and I need to go ahead and watch the next one. I've seen them all, but I just want to watch it again. An industrialist invites some experts to visit his theme park of cloned dinosaurs. After a power failure, the creatures run loose, putting everyone's lives, including his grandchildren's, in danger. This one has Sam Neill, Laura Dern, who is Bruce Dern's daughter, and Jeff Goldblum. Those are the main people in there. So they are archaeologists, and this guy contacts them and says, "Want you to visit this park," and basically they go there not knowing at all that they're going to be seeing live dinosaurs. And so
if you've seen the new Jurassic movies and you haven't seen the first one, why?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you should go watch the first one.
But it's amazing.
It's been so long since it's been out.
To think of it through their eyes, that they have always been
studied the bones,
digging up bones, and then to actually go to this island and see these in real life, and to see it through their eyes, and you're imagining their feelings and all that. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's a really good movie.
I think the first one's still one of the best ones.
It's terrific. The Matrix. I hadn't seen it in a while. I think I've only seen the first one. I may have seen the second one, but I have not seen.
Well, now that you've seen the first one, are you going to watch the other ones?
Well, let me describe it. When a beautiful stranger leads computer hacker Neo to a forbidding underworld, he discovers the shocking truth. The life he knows is the elaborate deception of an evil cyber intelligence. This is Keanu Reeves. I just don't understand why, what the importance of it is. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Who cares? I literally am watching.
I mean,
this.
if you're in the Matrix and you don't know any better,
then who cares?
Then you're just a battery for the machines, and who cares?
But who cares?
Yeah, you don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. Who cares? Why would you care? You're living your life. You don't know. So who cares? I probably won't watch the next one because I don't care. I'm thinking, why would you uncover all this? Why not just live your life?
Go to the awful reality of
just be happy.
Poor and eating glop and
just be happy. I mean, these people are just living in they're just living their regular lives. And why discover all these things that you don't need to know that? What good is it doing you to know that? It didn't do him any good. What good did it do Neo to find out any of that? Nothing good came of it. So I don't get the point. So no, I probably won't watch the other ones because I just don't understand.
So you would have taken I don't know which pill it is to go back to
I think
being
the
a battery.
Blue one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I literally just don't understand why you would do that. It was not beneficial whatsoever. It was not beneficial. Okay. Then I watched...
Tell us what you really think.
Then I watched Pirates of the Caribbean. Another one. Classic. Hadn't seen it in forever. We watched those back when Andrew was like 16 years old. And we would watch them as they would come out. And I even remember who he was dating at the time. Yeah. And the Curse, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. It says blacksmith Will Turner teams up with eccentric pirate Captain Jack Sparrow to save Elizabeth Swann, the governor's daughter, and his love from Jack's former pirate allies who are now undead. It has Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought they did a great job. I liked all the characters.
So you would watch the other ones of those?
Yes, and I've seen the other ones of those anyway. So yes, I would watch those again. I would continue on with that. So TV shows. Now we're back to you and I. We watched Squid Game 2. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even write a description for that.
Yeah, if you don't know what Squid Game is by now, then it's kind of a competing in games, deadly games, to get money, basically.
Yes, yeah. And this was the second season.
I like the first season better. Because you didn't know what was going on, and they were playing all these games. The games was the fun part, not the people dying during the games, but the fun part was seeing the games and then seeing how they got through them and stuff. This one didn't involve much as far as the games. I mean, it had some.
It had some new games. There are some new games.
It did, but it was all skewed a little bit based on what the whole premise of season 2 was, which I don't know how deep I want to go with that, but.
Yeah, you need, if you haven't watched season 1, and it is an adult show. There's blood. I mean, there's some
violence.
Yeah, it's very, very violent.
I don't think there's any nudity, if that bothers you, but
I don't think so.
There's blood and no nudity, so it's whatever may bother you.
But I did tell Kevin, somebody could market these games. They could sell some of these games for people to do at home.
Yeah, not the killing part.
No.
Not the killing the loser.
No, but
playing the games.
But just playing the games. A lot of these games they could market, and I'm honestly surprised that they haven't.
Well, some of the games are popular games in Korea or Japan or wherever they're at.
Right.
They are popular there. It's just not popular here.
Right. But yeah, you could like that one where they put it on their hand and then they had to catch it on the back.
Yeah.
Good grief. Yeah, that's something you'd have to practice.
That is in the book I'm reading right now. They call it something
because they were picking stuff up, and it's
knuckle
like
bones
it's
or something
like
that. It's kind of like jacks.
It's like jacks. But then at the end, you've got all these in your hand, and you've got to throw them up, and you've got to catch them on the back of your hand. That would be fun if they would sell those little pieces that you could buy.
The book I'm reading, it's called Knuckle Bones. The game is, and they're made out of little knuckle bones from animals.
Oh, okay.
Because it's medieval.
Because that's gross.
Well, it's medieval. They're clean bones.
Right.
They're not like raw bones. They're cleaned off and stuff, but they're tiny little bones that you have to catch. Yeah.
I just think that would be something that they could easily sell in like
I said, they probably do. If you get on Amazon, they probably do sell them.
Yeah, because that would be something that I would practice.
Of course, it was a Korean name, so we don't know what.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to look it up. Yeah, exactly. Vera. We finished Vera.
The
So
whole series.
we had Vera like shelved for a little while. We could have finished it a while back. But we were watching other shows and stuff like that, and so those came first. And Vera is an hour and a half show, so it's as long as a movie. So when you sit down for an episode of Vera, you need to have an hour and a half time available. But we did finish that, and Vera, if you don't know, she is a detective. She's a detective, and she's really good at her job. And so there's a different case every time. She lives where the Angel of the North is. That's where she lives. That's the area that we're talking about. And so it's a really good show, and I'm sorry it's over with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, it was good, but it ended positive. It ended in a good way.
Yes, it was a good ending. Matlock. We have started watching Matlock with
The Old Avenue.
With Kathy Bates. So Kathy Bates, we watched everything that's been out. Now it's gonna come back on. We are filming this on Wednesday, and you all will see it on like Friday. This video. There will be a new episode on Thursday. So by the time you see this on Friday, a new episode will have come on Thursday. I've missed it. It's because we kind of binged it. We watched one episode every night, and then it went off apparently for Christmas. And so it's just now on January 30th, it's coming back on with a new episode. I think she's perfect for this.
She did a good job.
I think she does a great job. The only thing I haven't liked is that at the beginning of every episode, they recap the whole show basically from the very beginning. And it's like, and maybe they're doing that because it's a brand new show, but hopefully after this first season, they won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because
it's like we get the gist.
Yeah,
we wouldn't be watching the 10th episode if we didn't understand what was going on.
Exactly. So hopefully they don't do that forever.
Back on them.
But she does a good job, and there's other people in this show. I was looking at this guy, and I didn't write his name down, but I'm looking at this guy, and I said, gosh, he looks so familiar. Well, it ends up, it's John Ritter's son. Looks just like him. Looks at you look at his eyes, and it's like, my gosh, I'm looking at John Ritter, and I'm thinking, that must be so hard on his mother to be like, you look just
like him. But he doesn't look just like him, but he looks
enough like him to
sure.
where it would make me miss him so much. He's
got one of the Bridges brothers in it too.
Yes, and then there's a female attorney. I love her. I think she's wonderful. So anyway, there's a lot of good characters. But then, so we started watching this new Matlock. We had never watched the old Matlock before with Andy Griffith. So guess what? We're watching the old Matlock, and we've watched probably, because the new one hadn't been on, that's given us a chance to really work them. We've probably watched, 15 episodes? Or we've watched a lot
Matlock, the old one?
Of Andy Griffith.
Probably around there.
Yeah.
Over 15.
And listen, it's so fun because we're bad. We're really bad because we're like, we'll, just like with movies, old movies or anything, we recognize all these people. And so the minute we turn on an episode, we've got the phone ready. We're going to look up these people. Yeah. Are they dead? Because what have they been horrible. In? Are they alive? What do they look like now? What were they in that we remember them from? You know, and so I've really enjoyed it.
That's been good. I mean, it's definitely following a formula, but
it's funny how they've dressed him like Colonel Sanders. He's wearing
the same thing every day,
all white in every episode, and I don't know how he stays clean. But I mean, it's just like, how did they pick out this outfit for him? But anyway, I have really enjoyed it.
It's been good.
Silo.
Season 2.
Season 2. Oh my gosh.
And we have not read the book, so we don't know anything about it. Just what's on the TV.
Okay, so let me describe it. Men and women live in a giant silo underground with several regulations which they believe are in place to protect them from the toxic and ruined world on the surface. So I talked about this show a lot.
There's like 10,000 people in each silo. There's not a small number of people. There's a lot.
Right. And so I talked about this a long time ago when we watched the first season. So the second season came out and we watched it. It has Rebecca Ferguson in it. And Rebecca Ferguson was in
she was in
Mission Impossible.
She was in
But you said she was in something else.
the Stephen King one, Dr. Sleep.
Oh, Dr.
She played the one that wore the hat.
She's very attractive.
Yeah.
Very
She
attractive.
was good in those movies.
But this show is I love it. I absolutely love it. It is so interesting. And gosh, I meant to write down that man's name. There's a guy in the first White Lotus show.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he plays the dad that he's worried in White Lotus. I think he's worried like he has testicular cancer or something in the first season of the White Lotus. I love him. And I wanted to say his name because he shows up in season 2 of Silo, and I just think he's brilliant. He has been, so he was in the White Lotus the first season. Steve Zahn.
Yeah.
He is so brilliant, and he can play such different characters.
Completely different character in this one than anything
Yes,
else.
and he was in the Righteous Gemstones the last season, and now he's in this. And at first, we're like, we didn't even recognize who it was. We had to look.
We kind of
up.
recognize the voice.
The
It's like
voice.
his voice sounds familiar.
And I love his voice. I love his voice, and it just. I told Kevin I just want to hug him. I would just really, really like him. But there are. I have to say, if you do a search for Silo and you start looking at the actors and actresses, I would have to name every person in there to say who are the best ones, because they're all good.
Yeah, they all do a
They
good
are
job.
all stellar. They're all, even though the ones that you hate, it's like these people can really, really act, and they're all such important parts of the show. It's a wonderful show. I just can't say enough.
I think
about
season 2 was just as good as season 1.
Absolutely, yes. Season 2 was
Well, I can't say that about Squid Games for me personally, but that Silo
season
has
2
been
of
just as
Silo,
good.
yes, it was so interesting,
And what's going to happen next?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was just absolutely terrific.
Mysteries,
Now, do you
questions.
think that? I know kids wouldn't be interested.
Silo? Probably not. It's probably a little too slow and deep for them.
But I would think. But I'm trying to think. If there's nothing like inappropriate though.
No, there's no nudity, no real violence or anything like that.
No, there's nothing that like if you got teenage kids that are interested in it.
Right.
I mean, I think they can watch that.
Yeah. So I think it's been renewed for 4 seasons. It's going to end on the 4th season. So
Well,
there's only going to be 4 seasons.
I will hate to see it go once it does. Lioness. We watched the 2nd season of Lioness.
I forgot how good that show was.
Yes, it's CIA operative Jo attempts to balance her personal life and professional lives as the tip of the spear in the agency's war on terror. This has a lot of good. We talked just now about Silo and how many good people are acting in that. Same thing goes for Lioness. I think that all of these people are terrific. And this is more of an action type show.
Yeah, it's fighting and gunfire and stuff like that, and espionage and stuff like that. But there's also some backstories and stuff too.
Yes, if you like that show, what was that show?
Homeland.
Homeland.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
kinda
liked
like
Homeland, I think you would like Lioness.
Yeah, it's similar.
Yes, I think if you liked Homeland, you would like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. Like I said, we watched this 2nd season. And it was like, I don't really remember this show that much. And then we started watching. It's like, oh, yep, I remember it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you just have to keep watching.
Yeah,
Just
because the
keep
first season
watching.
was really good too.
Yeah. Taskmaster, we're still working our way through Taskmaster. Taskmaster is
I think we're a season behind, actually.
I think we are too,
Yeah.
but we're still working our way
We're
through
working
it.
through it.
Yeah. And it's one of those shows where it's basically they bring different comedians, it seems like, on, and they have them do different tasks to see the different ways that they go about
It's the same
doing.
group of comedians for the whole season.
Right.
Yeah.
And then one person will win. It's a good
fun.
show. We're watching I'm a Celebrity Australia. And I know something I didn't write down on here. I know I just dawned on me something I didn't write on here, so we might take a break and come back. But I'm a Celebrity Australia. We know none of these people, so to us, it's like watching. These are celebrities.
But for us,
they're just regular people. Yeah. We're just watching these regular people. Now, it's really interesting to hear their backstories, to hear where they come from, and to hear that, you know, one's an Olympian and one's a guy that has a podcast, and you know, he's
a TikTok guy.
There's actresses and
athletes.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to hear their backstory and all that. But ultimately, for us, it's just like watching regular people because we don't know who these people are. Yeah. Kevin does not like the woman host.
The host, she drives me crazy. She acts like she's brain damaged.
He does not like her.
And that's her thing. That's her comedy.
You're not the only one. Sandra told me that she does not like her at all.
That's her thing, is to act goofy and stupid. And it's like, why would you want people to think that? You know,
she told me, she said just seeing her name is enough for me not to watch that show.
Oh, she's annoying. Luckily, she's not the only one, because it's got Steve Irwin's son. What's his name?
Is it not Robert?
Maybe it's right. Anyway, it's got Steve Irwin's son.
I think it's Robert.
He's in there. I think you're right. He does a really good job. He
does do a good job.
He does a good job. He balances her out.
He does. He, believe it or not,
he's more like grounded.
Yes. So that's a good show. I have started watching a show on Max called The Pitt. If you ever watched ER, The Pitt ER had Noah Wyle. This has Noah Wyle.
Can you kind of say that this is kind of like ER, just him being a doctor in the hospital the whole time? Could you visualize that in your mind, that he was in ER and now this is just him older years later?
Yeah, I could. Yeah. But like this is years later.
Yeah, this is years later. Now this is the same doc. Of course, there's different names and stuff. But
it is, but they could have done that.
Yeah, they could have.
They could have. Wouldn't it have been cool to bring back more of those?
ER, the next generation, or something like that.
Those people older. Yeah. What it is, though, it's kind of like an episode of 24, which we've never watched 24, which I do want to watch at some point. But this is like that, to where the Pit it's an ER, it's a really emergency room. It's real busy. They are in Pittsburgh, and each episode is an hour in one day. So by the end of the season, it's going to be one day in this ER.
One shift, basically.
One shift, yeah. So normally during an episode of ER, it was all
multiple days.
It was new patients each episode. This has a lot of the same patients, and you might get some added in because they're bringing people through the door.
Or you might discharge a few.
Or you might discharge some, but you're also continuing with the same people that were in the first hour because they're still there.
Yeah.
Because
that's a different way of filming it.
Yeah, you know that nobody gets out of the ER without being there for hours. Yeah. Yes, so think of it that way. Noah Wyle looks better. Kevin and I both said it. He looks better now than he did back in ER. He was
so young.
He looks rugged.
Yeah, he was so young back then.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy.
I watched him in a show years ago. It was a sci-fi show that you didn't watch.
I didn't watch.
You didn't watch it. It was really good.
But he's a really good actor too, and there's other people in there, and so it's a good show. So if you get Max, you can watch that. We also started watching Father Brown. We've only watched one episode. We watched the very first episode of Father Brown, but Father Brown, it seems like he's going to be the one to solve the mystery.
Yeah.
Like Matlock,
Marple or any of those.
Yeah, it seems like that's, and it's Weasley.
Yeah,
it's
Ron Weasley's dad.
It's Ron Weasley's dad. It's like, oh my gosh! So when I see him in this long robe flowing by on this bicycle, it's like, oh my gosh, that's Ron Weasley's dad. Arthur, yeah. It's Arthur on a bike. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
He's a little younger then, but not a lot younger.
No. So that's all I had written down, but there's one more thing I want to bring up, so we'll be right back. So the last show I wanted to bring up, the one I forgot to write down, was the Traitors UK for this year. And the reason I wanted to take a break, because I was going to look up all the names and talk about them, but there's no use in doing that, because if you don't watch the Traitors, number one, you don't care about all that stuff. But number two, it's not like these were celebrities.
Just regular people.
And honestly, that's why I personally am not interested in watching the Traitors in America. Now, Kevin can watch it if he wants to, but I'm not interested. So what the deal is the Traitors... They do it's the exact same show in all the countries.
It was last time.
It has been in the past.
Yeah.
It's been the same in the UK as it is in America. They stay in the same castle. They have the
different hosts.
They have the exact same games. Everything is exactly the same. It's just a different host and different people. I don't like necessarily the host in the America version.
And the people they pick.
And I don't like the people they pick. They pick these, I wouldn't even say D-list. I would say G-list people. They pick these reality stars to be on ours. They don't pick regular people. So frankly, I'm not interested in watching it.
I'd much rather see it with regular people.
With regular people. Just regular, everyday people. Because people that come from this reality world... They're used to the cameras being on them. They're used to acting a little bit, absolutely. And I've watched the last Traitors in America had those kind of people, and I just didn't think it was as good. It wasn't even as interesting or anything to me. So we watched the UK version, which is all normal people, and I love the host. I like her a lot. She's really just a regular person, relatable person. And is
her name Claire or something like that?
Can't think of her
It begins
name.
with a C. Go ahead, keep going.
But the people, they're just regular people, and it's just much more enjoyable to watch regular people than it is to see these people. Claudia. And I really like Claudia. She's very down to earth, and she really, you can tell she likes these people. And
she'll encourages them to finish things and stuff. Whereas the host of the American one,
I don't feel that way about him.
The American one, he's like, whatever. I don't care if you win money or not. And she's like, get your ass in gear. Come on, you got 1 minute. You know, and she's yelling at him and stuff like that. It's really fun.
So I don't plan on watching the American version, but we did watch the UK version, and it was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it ended well too, because you never know. Literally, you never know until probably down to the last 2 episodes where it's going to go.
Really, the last episode.
Even the last episode.
This time, the last episode was like, oh my gosh, can you even believe that?
So you really don't know until you get right to it. I mean, you see it play out as it goes, but you really don't know what's going to happen to that very last episode. So, which is saying a lot for a game, really, more than anything.
But we're not. I don't feel like we're missing out on anything, because it's like
I don't want to watch the reality stars.
And it's the exact same games. So I don't feel like we're missing out on anything. So. If you want to say what you're watching, I love reading your comments, what you're watching, or like if you saw something that you thought was horrible, write it down and say, I thought this was awful.
I watched this and would never watch it again.
I would never watch it again. I like hearing stuff like that too. Oh, so let's say if we were to recommend one movie,
probably Carry On.
I would say Carry On. If you like action movies, I would recommend Carry On, because anybody.
I mean, there was a little bit of shooting and stuff, but that was about it.
But anybody, they're dealing with in the beginning of it. Yeah, it does have some violence in it.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Carry On does have some violence, but if you're okay with that, then that would be a movie suggestion. Besides the old movies, I'm not going to put my old movies in there. And then a show that we watched.
Oh, there's pretty much most of those, honestly.
All these shows are really, really good. But if you've never watched Silo,
Silo's excellent.
I would say start watching Silo, because if you don't get it at first, just keep watching it, because trust me, it's just terrific. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you at the end of February.